Hello, fellow plant people. Welcome back if you are returning to my channel, and if you are new, my name is Jen. I go by The Leafy Geek here and also on Instagram. And I'm doing some plant chores tonight, walking around and noticing that I have some plants that are pretty pissed off at me. So I thought I would show you. I mean, that's part of plant ownership, is that you're going to have some plants that kind of suffer at various points, you know, and for various reasons. Just kind of walking around, noticing that there are some issues, and I thought as I kind of walk around and observe and troubleshoot, might as well take you with me and kind of keep it real, I guess. So let's take a look at some plants that are mad at me. First one, definitely on the list, is this Calathea or Bifolia. I noticed that the leaves on the bottom have been dying back. They've been yellowing and dying back. Now, I don't know necessarily if it's because it was getting too much light or my watering was not enough. I have a feeling it's the latter. I don't even know. So I up-potted it. It was in a smaller nursery pot when I got it, and noticed it was kind of suffering a little bit, and so I put it into this larger pot because the root system is still pretty small, with some well-draining but moisture-retentive soil, and it's still going, ugh. So, I mean, it's the nature of these guys, right? Absolutely. It's grown quite a bit, quite a few new leaves on it. It's just the ones at the bottom are kind of looking rough. So, gonna try and figure that out. This is my second attempt with this plant, and if this one goes, that'll be it. Okay, I'm in my little plant care room, and speaking of Calathea, whatever, here are my other two. Currently, not a whole lot happening in here. They all dried up and died. This was a beautiful big lemon lime at one point, a Maranta, I should say. This is a Maranta. Same family, prayer plant family. But Maranta, this lemon lime, was so big and lush and beautiful, and then it just declined. I had assumed that it was because it needed to be up-potted, so that's what I did to it, and then it just declined some more, and that was that. The plant just, it was a steady, slow decline for it. So I'd read that you can potentially rebound them if you cut back the dead foliage and then just keep them in a humid place. Try not to overwater them and just kind of let the roots hang out and recover, and sometimes they will send up new growth. So that's what I'm going to try and do. This one was a Calathea. Nope, this was another Maranta. So these were actually both Marantas, and this one was one that I got from Steve's Leaves a while back. I will put that on the screen because I forget the variety that it was. But yeah, these were both Marantas, and they are both not doing so hot. So, surprisingly, these betches are still hanging on. My variegated Boston ferns that I brought in from outside from this summer are still here. I had thought they would kick the bucket by now. But all I'm doing is I'm keeping them regularly watered. They're in this space that it's not getting direct light. There's a grow light on the shelf above them. But just misting them regularly and then bottom watering them frequently. And here they still are. So I guess this is maybe not a fail yet. I think I'm putting them in this video because I'm still expecting them to crash before the end of the winter, but here they are, still alive. Over by all of my cuttings, my propagations right now, and I guess you could kind of say that most of the guys over here are kind of mad at me because they, on some level, needed rehabbing. That's why I have a ton of plants over here kind of rerooting in water. But this one is the one I wanted to show you. You guys know what this was? This was my Cissus Discolor. I showed that off so proudly on a video not too long ago, my Vitaceae kind of plant showcase video, And this is what it looks like now. No bueno. I still don't know if any of this is recoverable. The original root ball is in here. I've been kind of just checking for new growth. But I've got some cuttings of it rooting over here in water. I'm trying to start over. But yikes, guys. Yikes. There's another one that's not super happy with me right now. This is one of my epiphytic cacti. This is my rickrack cactus. It's an epiphyllum, I believe. I will look that up. It's either an epiphyllum or a Selenocerius. Can't really remember which one this one landed in. But rickrack it is, and as you can see, it's super desiccated, really dehydrated, and it's been this way despite, consistent waterings. I haven't let it completely dry out, which they don't like, being completely dry for extended periods of time. So, regular watering schedule as to like how my other epiphyllums in the same location were on. But this one just has consistently just gone downhill. So I repotted it. I checked the roots. The roots aren't great. But I put it into some soil that I'm hoping will hopefully kind of stimulate some new root growth. In the meantime, I'm trying to kind of figure out what to do with all of this nonsense that doesn't seem to be doing overly well. And I kind of moved it. It was under a pretty strong grow light, so I kind of moved it off to the side a little bit to see if it would rebound. But not holding out much hope for this one. Okay, these a-holes in this glass terrarium here, all on some level have just hated me at some point in their little lives. So I decided I'd move them all into one terrarium and just let them fend for themselves. So I've got, this is a Peperomia variety. I'll put the name on the screen. This is Begonia Penny Lane, or Penny Lane, however you pronounce that. And then my Begonia amphioxus. This is what's left of it. It decided to completely rot out from underneath the stem. So that's a cutting that had a couple of spindly little roots growing off of it that I just kind of tucked back down into the sphagnum. We'll see how she does. Yikes. This is a really ugly terrarium, actually, too. It's not attractive. It hates me. Peperomia elongata. Hates me. Second time with this plant too. Actually, these were original cuttings. Cuttings from my original plant that I had successfully rerouted. The original plant was on the outs, so I took these cuttings. Thought maybe I'd redo them to myself, but I think this one just suffered from just my bad, like lack of attention. It was kind of tucked underneath the shelf down there, lack of water. I think a lot of my peperomia that are under there I'm going to have to move because I just don't think that's the best location. Light-wise, during the day it's great, but I forget about them, and the watering thing is kind of what's making them suffer, I think. Although those three under there are doing all right. Pretty darn well, actually. I've got a fuzzy mystery, my quadrangularis, peperomia, and incana, but this guy, done. Oh. So this is my begonia tent, and you can see got some decent temp, decent humidity, and the top shelf is doing great. The middle shelf is doing equally great. The bottom shelf is where the issues are. I've got 3 begonias down here who are not happy for some reason, and honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I just keep trying with these, and nothing. Like, watering is steady, pretty consistent. So this one, can't even remember. That's the Begonia American River, and then my big beautiful, or once was beautiful, Begonia lucerna. are definitely not super jazzed about their situation, so I'm going to try and figure this out. I don't know, I kind of attempted to supplement some light on this lower shelf because you really can't get natural light, and I'm wondering if that's part of the issue, if they just aren't handling the artificial light very well. These guys up on these two shelves, there's artificial light, but they do get some daylight from this west-facing window here. But these are the, well, this one I guess is kind of also having some sort of issue, but it had issues before I even put it in here. This is my Irene Nuss. This had issues with leaf drop before it went in, so I don't really know, you guys. They're just not happy, these ones on the bottom. So I might try and figure that out. Maybe I'll have to take them out for a little while and let them reacclimate. I'll just figure it out. But I think that's my next step because they aren't improving in here. The rest of them are doing wonderful. And so because there are just a few isolated ones that aren't, I kind of wonder if it's like a specific issue that I need to look a little bit closer at. And for that, I would need to take them out. So that might be the next move. For these 3 begonias. Oh, my orchid bloom is done. So it was nice while it lasted. This one is not mad at me, apparently. Oh, sad. I also kind of adjusted, I had some water trays down on the bottom here, but I moved it a bigger tray with damp perlite in here, and that seems to be maintaining the humidity a lot better. It seems to be more consistent across several days, so I'm happy about that. Just aren't super happy with what's going on with these guys. If you have any begonia tips, let me know what, the source of this issue might be. I don't think I've gotten water on the leaves at all. They just look kind of bleached out. It's weird. It's real weird. Not sure. So it's, yeah, either too much light or a potential pest, I think. But I don't see any pests. I've checked them. Guess we'll just have to check again or kind of try and find the baseline and get them out of here. All right, so those are the highlights. Seriously though, I mean, things don't look that bad in here right now. I have close to 250 plants at this point, and if a handful of them are having some issues, I'm gonna kind of treat that as kind of winning, I guess. I mean, it's the time of the year where things start to get a little bit weird. Winter time, especially where I live, things get cold, things get dry. And I think these plants are accustomed to a certain level of humidity from the summer. And I haven't quite gotten my humidifiers up and running yet for the winter. So I think the humidity is steadily decreasing in here. And some of them are kind of showing their displeasure with that. With some crusty leaves, some brown tips, etc. I mean, the ones that I showed you, obviously, it's a combination of factors, probably, and quite a few of those factors are probably related to human error. And we do what we can do, right? It's one of those things, it's part of being a plant collector, growing plants in your home. Every single plant failure, in my opinion, is a learning experience, so you can take that for what it's worth. I certainly do. I like to try and do the research, troubleshoot, figure out what potential errors or issues could be, and then try and course correct. And if that doesn't work, I'm not going to lose sleep about it, but definitely going to give it a shot because I definitely believe that we learn by making mistakes in addition to succeeding and having success. So that's my thoughts about all of this. So I just wanted to share that with you and let you know that I'm guilty of killing plants myself. So hopefully this is not discouraging. Hopefully it's encouraging. But just wanted to share that with you. So I hope you guys are having a great night. And until next time, enjoy your plants.